Hello and welcome to the Toastmasters Podcast Europe. I'm your host, Darryl Heron.
May is an exciting month for Toastmasters in Europe. We have district conferences for District 71, District 91, District 59, and District 95. I provided links to the different district conferences in the show notes. At the District 95 conference, you'll have the opportunity to see the current world champion of public speaking as the keynote speaker. And you'll also get the chance to see him in some exciting workshops in London, May 28th, and Edinburgh on May 31st. I provided links to both of these events in the show notes as well. I hope that you'll go to one or more of the district conferences. You'll have a lot of fun. This is the first part of a two-part interview that we did with Ovidiu Oltean, who won the District 95 Table Topics in English and took second place in the Humorous Speech Contest in English at the District 95 conference in Frankfurt, Germany. My apologies for the humming noises that you'll hear throughout the interview. They were a feature of the room that we recorded the interview in. Without further ado, here is the interview.
So I'm sitting with a very victorious competitor from the District 95, the first ever District 95 conference here in Frankfurt. And maybe you can tell us, I know that you won the English Table Topics contest yesterday, and you came in second place in the English Humorous contest. So why don't you tell us about your experience in that competitions?
Hi Darryl, my name is Ovidiu Oltean. I come from Toastmasters Cluj, in Cluj-Napoca, that's in Transylvania, Romania. And I can say it was a fabulous experience here in Frankfurt. It's the first time that our division, the Division Age in Romania, competes in an international contest. So that's a first for all of us Romanians. And it was really a reason to be proud of for representing Romania for the first time in an international contest. And going home with two important awards is more satisfying than ever.
So obviously doing so well in the competition, the first time in the District 95 competition that you were eligible to do this, you obviously have a little bit of competitive history. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Darryl, I started my Toastmaster experience in September 2012, 2 years ago, and I competed in my first contest in May 2013. It was a national contest. It wasn't recognized by Toastmasters International, and there were like 15 competitors in that contest. It was in Romanian. I won that contest, and it's one of my fondest memories because it was the first ever contest that I ever won. And this year, in May, again, it was the second national contest. That time it was both in Romanian and in English, and I won them both. And in this autumn at Bucharest, we had the first division ever recognized by Toastmasters International Contest. And we had the humorous and table topic section in Romanian and in English, but having won the previous contests in Romanian, I sticked only with the English side because the Romanian contest stopped at the Romanian level, at country level, so I wanted to go beyond. So I just signed up for the English contest, and it was a pretty nice experience to win both contests and arrive here in Frankfurt and achieving these awards. So yeah, I signed in Toastmasters for the experience that I have on stage. I enjoy a lot speaking in front of people and delivering inspiring messages that can help them in their lives. But when it comes to competitions, yeah, I go there to win. No one wants to lose a contest, and the feeling you have when you go there and receive your prize, it just can't be described.
So I'm curious to find out about your humorous speech, since you did so well, finishing second there. Maybe you could tell us about the speech and how you came up with the speech.
Well, to be honest, the speech that I delivered here in Frankfurt is a lot different from the first speech that I entered at club level. I started with a speech that regarded leadership, and then at division I came up with this speech entitled Lost, but I had to change it because it wasn't that good, and it seems that the final version presented here at Frankfurt was good enough to earn me a prize. The speech is about how people feel when they get lost in their lives and they feel they are depressed. I know it's a tricky subject because let's say it's a sad subject, but I thought that it could be an interesting antithesis between talking about a sad subject in a funny way. It can be a twist in the audience mind, because no one will expect a humorous speech about depression. The source of inspiration for my speech was my own life. I've been through 2 depressions when I almost ended my life, and we learn the most from our saddest experiences. So I decided to pick something out of my life that made a major impact in my life, and added something that all Toastmasters members can resonate with, and that's the Toastmasters experience. And that's how I came up with the idea of creating this new club, the Depressed Toastmasters, and creating a whole story around the concept of Depressed Toastmasters. And to be honest, I didn't expect that big of a reaction from the crowd, because there were moments where I just had to stay and wait for the audience to stop laughing and clapping. It was a big challenge for me to be in time and make the audience laugh. So I think the subject in the end was a very good one. I got inspired a lot by John Zimmer, who had in 2008 in the District 59 conference, humorous conference, similar subject, but he talked about how would it be if Toastmasters had the Terminator for their guiding figure instead of Ralph Smedley. So that was a source of inspiration that led me to the idea of creating a whole concept around the Depressed Toastmasters, linked with my personal experience.
Table Topics is kind of an interesting thing at Toastmasters. There's newer members then are kind of afraid, and then the more experienced members tend to really like it. Obviously, winning the Table Topics competition yesterday, you've become pretty well at it. Maybe you want to tell us about the question, your response, maybe the strategy that you employed?
Well, when I first heard the question, which was a quote from Wolfgang van Goethe, when I heard the name Goethe, I thought, oh my God, I'm screwed. I don't know nothing about Goethe. I know he's German, but that's all. So the quote was, "Living dangerously is the only way to live." So I thought, okay, what can I say about this? And regarding the strategy that I used, I had 3 or 4 stories that could relate to popular subjects like life, leadership, friendship, love, and so on, that can be adapted to specific subjects or questions. So when I heard that living dangerously is the only way to live, okay, that's about life. So I picked the story about life that related most with this subject, and just fixed it and adapted so it would make the proper impact and I don't deviate a lot from the subject. And the reason why I think it was so good and people liked it so much is because of the metaphor behind it. Because I compared life to a Monopoly game, and compared the fact that at Monopoly, what do? We just pay rent, receive cash, go to free parking, go to jail maybe, and all those things are done in a relaxed atmosphere, maybe while drinking a beer, hanging out with your friends, no stress. While in life we do the same things, get wage, pay rent, get free parking, sometimes go to jail, but everything is done in a tense manner with a lot of stress. We don't joke about it, we take it too serious, and we don't tend to detach ourselves. Because if we detach ourselves and let life or let the dice roll and just see where it takes us on the board of life, then we don't have control. We are not in control, and for most people, not being in control means something dangerous because we don't know what's going to happen. But when we lose that control and we accept that maybe life knows better what's good for us, then we will lose all the stress and we will learn how to enjoy life. So yes, for many people, living dangerously means not letting go. But and for them is the only way to live. But maybe living dangerously means letting go and find out what will life bring to you. And I think that's the way to live, because I've been living like that for the past year, and it brought me only nice things in my life.
So you mentioned just a moment ago about for the past year. Obviously, you lived your life a little differently prior to that past year, so I'd be curious to hear what you meant by that.
Well, after graduating at technical university, so I'm an engineer, from the point of view of the university, I started working in sales, and I've been a salesman for 3 years, and in the last year I discovered Toastmasters. So I went to Toastmasters meetings and sold products and services in the same time. All that until the 20th of May 2013, when I celebrated my 25th birthday, and I decided this has to stop, because every day when I wake up in the morning, I hate going to work. And I don't want to experience this for the rest of my life. So I've put myself the question, I asked myself the question, what would I do for the rest of my life if I had all the time and money in the world? And I thought about that a few days. And when I came up with the answer, well, I want to be on stage, and I want to talk in front of people, and I want to help people through my experience and through the message that I have for them, I decided, okay, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start doing something in public speaking, and well, we'll see what's going to happen. So on my 25th birthday, I quitted my job, and that was the last resignation of my life. And since then, across 5 days, I discovered public speaking workshops, boot camps, events, conferences, all these resources that I never knew existed, after I made the decision that I will do this for the rest of my life. So it was like the message from the universe that, okay, you're on the right track, keep going. This is the path you have to go. For the first month, let's say 6-7 months, it was difficult from a financial point of view, but afterwards results started to come in. For the first 6 or 7 months, I helped people deliver speeches, create speeches, control their emotions, their thoughts, build speeches based on personal stories. But what I was looking for was the financial reward by doing this work. And it was a struggle, because I worked every day doing something that I love to do, but I wanted some cash in return. And all of this ended last year in November, and I talked about this in my speech, in my humorous speech, because one day my girlfriend left me for my biggest client. So my emotional life was ruined, and my financial situation was ruined because he left with all my money, because not only my girlfriend left, but my client left too. So in that moment I watched a movie, and it's called The Shift with Wayne Dyer, and when I saw that movie, it literally changed my life, because in that movie Wayne Dyer talks about the moment that shifts your value system. And you go from what can I get from the world to what can I give to the world? How can I be of service? How can I serve the people? And since that moment, I've asked myself the question, how can I help people when I'm on stage? And I don't care about what will come in return, just how can I help them? And let life, God, the universe, take care of my needs and what I should deserve in return. And when I started to do that, suddenly all of my projects boomed up, and money came more than before, and recognition came more than before, and I managed to touch the lives of more people than before, because my focus was primarily on them and not on me. And that's when the best part of my life started, when I just said, okay, I'm going to help people. Universe, do what you want to do after this. I'm letting go of it. So, yeah, once I decided to follow my calling, to follow my bliss, as Joseph Campbell says, life was great and is great.
Okay, as a final question then, I've obviously asked you a few questions, but is there anything today that you would like to talk about that we haven't discussed so far?
I would like to give the most important advice that I give to all the people that I work with regarding public speaking. And I use this tool or advice in all my winning speeches, and I've seen it work in the last 2 years in all of the 9 contests that I've won. So if anyone wants to reach a high level in public speaking, if anyone wants to reach people's hearts or win contests at Toastmasters, I recommend them to use this piece of information. Build your speech on a sad experience that you learn something from. So take a look back at your life. Find those challenges, those hurtful moments, the moments that gave you pain, that you overcome, and you learn something from them, and start building your speech from that. When I start working on speech, I start from a personal story. I don't think that speakers should create speeches that are not based on personal stories, except the informative speeches that, like trainings and so on, scientific speeches. But if we're talking about motivational, inspirational, humorous speeches, talk about a personal story, because you can't create emotion, you can't connect with the audience if you don't genuinely feel that emotion inside you. You can't expect the audience to feel something that you don't feel, and if you haven't experienced that story that you're telling, you can't feel that. So build your speech on a personal story, and if you can, make it a sad one, something that troubled you, because we all resonate with pain. I don't think there's a person on planet Earth that hasn't experienced pain, emotional pain. So we can all relate to that. And if a speaker tells us how they overcome that pain and how they manage to succeed after being in that pain, well, the audience will feel, okay, I can do that. I've been there. This is what I have to do in order to get out of that situation. So yeah, I think this is the most important thing. Just build your speech on a personal story and tell us how you managed to get out of that troubling and challenging situation. And I've seen it work with all my winning speeches, and this is what I teach all of my clients, and it does make wonders for speakers.
Okay, thanks so much for your time today.